I watch episode 14 of Pokemon every year because I watch every episode of Pokemon every year. In episode 14, Electric Shock Showdown, Ash encounters Lieutenant Surge, the first gym leader who doesn't want to spend the rest of their life following a child. Lieutenant Surge really puts the gym in gym leader. He also puts the leader in gym leader. He puts it all in. Lieutenant Surge is surging. He's got his bicycle voucher, if you know what I mean. He's on that poke gear, that rare candy. He takes a few extra scoops. Steroids. The in-universe explanation for why Lieutenant Surge is twice as tall as everyone else is because he's American. His superiority to Ash is only exemplified by his choice in Pokemon, Raichu, the evolved form of Pikachu. Despite warnings from everyone, Ash decides to battle Lieutenant Surge's Raichu with his Pikachu, even though Bulbasaur would have been a better matchup. Raichu defeats Pikachu easily and mercilessly, to the point that even Ash's stalkers question their life choices. Who's that Pokemon? The one that just permanently disabled Pikachu. At the hospital, Nurse Joy offers Ash some alternative medicine, one of her best crystals, a Thunderstone, which when held would force Pikachu into evolving into Raichu. The word lieutenant comes from the words lu, which means place, and tenant, which means to hold. A lieutenant is a placeholder. The definition of surge is a sudden large increase. Lieutenant Surge, to hold and become greater. But holding it doesn't make Ash any greater. He burdens this permanent decision on the freshly concussed Pikachu, who in a moment of lucidity rejects changing its entire identity for a pin. It would rather fail as what it is than succeed at what it isn't. Lieutenant Surge used a Thunderstone to evolve his Pikachu into a Raichu immediately. They are both on the juice. But because of that, his Raichu missed out on essential training only possible for Pikachu to learn, because that's the message of this episode. Sometimes when we grow and succeed too quickly, we miss the moments that would have helped us continue to thrive. It's the journey, not the destination, because the destination is the same for everyone. We're all going to die. We're all going to catch up in the end. The real journey was the people we lost along the way. In an attempt to rush to one's goals, when you take shortcuts and force change, sometimes your gains are also your losses. Don't take steroids. That's the message. So Pikachu defeats Raichu, Natty, and everyone claps. Even Raichu, whose career was on the line. Raichu, who will never be fast. Raichu, who lost its chance, missed that opportunity. HGH advocate Raichu, whose failure is immortalized in the opening credits and the closing credits, claps for Pikachu. Raichu may have sent hundreds to the hospital, but its own wounds will never heal. And rather than take the ample opportunity to kidnap Pikachu in its weakened state, the stalkers did an interpretive dance. The only person blasting off in this episode is Lieutenant Surge. That's another slang term for steroids. There are shortcuts in life, simple skips to suffering, but eventually suffering will find you, and sometimes it finds you for a second time. This is the rare occurrence when to be continued was actually continued. A decade later, in episode 540, Pika vs. Goliath, Pikachu is defeated by another Raichu, and the exact same plotline happens again, down to the traumatizing visage of Pikachu laying in a human-sized hospital bed. We learn that Ash had been holding on to the Thunderstone all this time. He was always holding, just in case Pikachu was ever made to feel inadequate again on their journey. Sometimes it isn't the journey or the destination. Sometimes you should have just stayed home. To be continued.